The Lego Movie 2, the second part, was directed by Mike Mitchell and also written by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. So this movie takes place 5 years after the original Lego Movie. We see that these characters are trying to survive in this wasteland after these premature Legos have appeared out of nowhere. They're trying to basically survive, and as everyone is thinking that this is not an awesome situation that they're in, Emmett is being optimistic. He's being joyful because that's his character, and pretty much the entirety of this movie is everyone wanting him to toughen up. He's too soft, and everyone wants him to be more of a leader because he was shown to be this kind of messiah of the Lego universe, and everyone's kind of just now realizing that he's this soft guy, but after his friends are kidnapped by this unknown being, it's up to him to, basically harden up. Ooh, that sounded weird. And basically go forth to try to save his friends. Now, I really liked the first Lego Movie. I thoroughly enjoyed that because not only was that just a really well-written comedy, it provided the message for kids to basically be creative. And it made them feel special at the end of that film. And that's one of the reasons why I regard the Lego Movie as one of the best animated films out there. It's not just because it's funny. It's not just because it revolves around Legos, which is a very popular toy. It's because you felt something emotional within that film. And going into this film, I was excited, but I was fairly concerned because I wanted to feel that same emotional impact that I felt in the first one, where I wanted to take away a really well-written lesson. I wanted to also laugh, I wanted to also see these characters again, but at the same time, I wanted to feel something. And I was also very concerned because Mike Mitchell, if you look at his IMDb, he did Shrek Forever After, he did the third Alvin and the Chipmunks film, he did the SpongeBob film that came out in 2015, which was good, and he also did Trolls. And one of the main concerns that I had was this was just going to be a regular Lego movie, kind of like the spin-offs a little bit. I am happy to say that this was a really, really good Lego movie. This is just as good as the first one. I very much like this film a lot. Not only is this just really well written, I laughed a lot of the times. This film is very self-aware, very much how Lego Batman pointed out flaws with Suicide Squad and everything. And I just really enjoyed the self-awareness of this film. I thought it was just hilarious. And I think that's just due to the fact that Phil Lord and Christopher Miller came back as writers. I would have been very upset if they had just produced this. I wanted them to be writers, and this just showcases that they really understand how this universe works and what kind of humor needs to be in this. And I'm just glad. Even though I had some concerns that they weren't directors in this, I was just glad that they were back as writers. I think they're really good as writers. And in terms of everything else, I just really enjoyed how this film had a really good message. The film basically dabbers into the idea of growing up and the consequences that follow if you choose to not grow up or if you do grow up, and basically the idea of changing yourself. And that's basically what Emmett goes through in this film, is he's trying to impress Lucy and he's trying to impress everybody around him because he is pretty much a soft character, and it sometimes comes off as, he can't be this master builder. So because his friends are captured, he has to basically stand up. And when he meets this super awesome guy named Rex, he starts to see what he can become. I also really liked Rex in this film. He is basically a persona of Chris Pratt's career. Basically, Chris Pratt, he became more relevant after the Lego Movie. That's when Guardians of the Galaxy came out and all his other movies after the Lego Movie. That was pretty much his first real thing. So I just really liked how the movie acknowledges that after the Lego Movie in 2014, Chris Pratt has had a career. And I like that contrast between Emmett and Rex, which, Emmett is Chris Pratt from the first Lego Movie, and Rex is that personification of Chris Pratt's career. I just thought that was a really kind of neat thing to look into. I also really like the designs of this film in terms of this Lego universe. We see after these premature Legos have taken over, the city that they're living in is basically turned into this Mad Max kind of universe where they have to all be hard and edgy, and they really kind of go into monologues about how bleak the world is. And I really like just kind of that change and that kind of hardcoreness. I think that the film is trying to kind of say something about movies nowadays and how they're trying to be kind of Mad Max oriented. This film actually pokes a lot of fun at a lot of other films as well, and I really enjoyed that aspect because they're not afraid to really make fun of everybody and themselves as well. Warner Brothers, even with the Teen Titans Go movie, whatever you say about that film, they poke at themselves a lot. It's did you guys purposely make your past films crap so you could make fun of them in kids' movies? I don't know. It's it's a cool thing to really think about. I don't think so, but that it's just a little theory, just a little Illuminati theory. And I also really like the musical notes in this film. Some people might say that this is a negative, where the film has more songs than the first one. I found them quite humorous, actually. Now, there's actually a couple songs that are sang primarily by Tiffany Haddish, who I feel as though does not really have the greatest singing voice. I don't think they intended her to be a good singer. I just think that they did the songs for humor purposes. That might be a negative for some people, is they're not actually really trying to sound like in key. And I did notice that at first. I actually saw this with a friend of mine. She was like, she doesn't really sound that good of a singer. It sounds funny. And I wasn't really looking into how good the music sounded. It was definitely like very catchy. It was definitely on beat. I was just kind of more invested in the humor of it all. There's actually a song that has T-Pain in it, and it's basically this song where it's so catchy it gets stuck in your head. That's a good song. I looked that up on Spotify right after this film. I really enjoyed that. It's super catchy. It does get stuck in your head. And even if you get tired of it, at least there's like that kind of humor factor in it. So I really just enjoyed the idea that they were more focused on humor than actually making a good song. One of my favorite musicals is The Book of Mormon. I like that musical not just because of the keys and the notes and how the music sounds. I like it because of the humor that is conveyed in the songs. That's kind of what I look for in musicals, is what they're trying to say. And that's why I like a lot of the songs in the Lego Movie 2, because of the humor that's involved. So if you don't like how the song sounds, at least there's the takeaway of the jokes. I really enjoyed the jokes in this. It's so smart, and the humor is just on point. And like I said, I can't stress this enough. I think this film just has a really good message in terms of the idea that whenever we grow up from being kids to adults, obviously that's how growing up works. The idea that things aren't always going to be awesome, and the idea that growing up kind of brings forth these obstacles in life, and sometimes it's hard to be positive. But what the film is trying to say is how we handle these obstacles and how we perceive life, pretty much, and just being positive. And I know it's hard to be positive sometimes, but the film just really handles this topic very well, and just a really good message. And I just really appreciated how this film wasn't just another animated film. It wasn't just like the Lego Movie spin-offs. They're good, but I just really liked how this, like the first one, was really well animated. It was funny, and it had a lesson to be learned. It had something that kids and adults could take away from, and I just was really looking forward to that. I was scared that this film wasn't going to have it, and it did. Really appreciated that. So yeah, guys, that was my review to the Lego Movie 2, the second part. Comment down below what you thought of this movie if you've seen it yet. Like this video, share it, and please subscribe to PixelTalk if you haven't yet for more movie reviews, trailer reactions, and gaming content. Thank you guys so much. I am Corbin Stuckey, and this is PixelTalk.